So probably about 2 years ago now, my channel started out with a Suburban of all vehicles, super weird. Then we got a Chevy Colorado. Then we ended up picking up the Jeep. We've got a new tow rig. And it seems like every time I get a new rig, people are worried that the Samurai is gonna go away, because meat and potatoes of this channel has been the Samurai for a long time, because we just did so much work on it and we wheel it a lot. But now the time has to be shared between the Jeep and the Samurai, because Samurai's only got 2 seats. Part of making this crazy off-road lifestyle work is having my wife on board, and that's a huge part of it. And the only way we can go is if there's a seat for my kiddo. So that's where the Jeep comes in. The Samurai has been pretty much good to go. It's been wheeling really well with this setup on 33s, although these tires don't seem to work that well for the terrain that I like to wheel on, so that is something I'd change if I could. Another part of this channel is the budget side of it. Also plays into keeping the wife happy, but the tires were free because they came on the Jeep that I got, so it's kind of like a free upgrade from a 31 to a 33, even though they're an all-terrain and not as good on the rocks. It is more clearance, and I think that trade-off's been good for the Samurai. So we're able to get over obstacles a lot easier without getting our diffs hung up, especially out on the Rubicon. Really noticed it a lot this year, being able to get through the gatekeeper and whalebones and a lot of other things where historically I've gotten my diffs hung up. With that out of the way, we did have to put a lot of work into the Jeep to get it ready for Moab, because I just felt like the Samurai wasn't a good wheelbase, and just the way it's set up just didn't seem like it was going to be great for Moab with all those steep ledges and stuff, so I decided to take the Jeep. Because of that, we had to work on the Jeep for a while, wheeled the Jeep at Moab, so we've got some Moab videos coming out with the Jeep, but Samurai's not going anywhere. Don't worry about that, guys. We actually have a lot of cool stuff coming for it. So forever, we have been talking about the Toyota swap on the Samurai, and it couldn't come fast enough. Like you see right now, I'm working on the rear axle of the Samurai. The last time we took it out, we had wheel cylinder on the driver's side break. It totally failed up here on one of the ends, leaked out all of our fluid, and we had to do a really steep trail with no brakes, basically tethered to somebody else to go down. It wasn't a fun experience, but you know, the Samurai's got such low gears. It actually did pretty good like that. You know, I'm trying to minimize how much money I put into these axles because we were going to do the Toyota axle swap for so long. The thing about swapping to Toyota axles is it is expensive to run a big tire. I think if you're running like a 37, you still have to build them up to have them be reliable, especially if you got a lot of gearing and you're going to run them hard on the trail. It's funny, my neighbor was moving. Shut this little air conditioner. My neighbor was moving, and he used to have a Toyota that was on some 39.5 IROX, and I was like, dude, that's pretty much the tire I want to run, the bias ply. He was like, hey, I've got one. I'm not gonna do anything with. You want it? So that is a 39.5 right there. This one's super old. It's from like 2008. You know, the compound's like rock hard and brittle and all that. So I'm not gonna run this tire, but it is gonna be good for the mock-up. I've got it with a 6-inch stretch right now, and it's hard to see in these tight quarters, but that is a big tire on a Samurai. So that's my 33 next to it. We were gonna have to do the trunnion bearing eliminator. That's an expensive kit. I think it's like $550, $600, somewhere around there. We're gonna have to do 6-shooter knuckles. That kit's like $700. RCV axles, talking about $1,000 right there. Some kind of probably long fields in the rear. You know, the price of all of this after you truss it and gear it and lock it, I mean, it just goes way up. Unless I could find somebody that wanted to sell me one that was already built and in good condition, but even that's been hard to find. I'm not proud of it. Definitely didn't enjoy doing it, but it cost me $800 to get a pair of Toyota axles in our area. That's a lot of money for me, and the axles look like they were just pulled out of a junkyard. I couldn't even do that. I couldn't ever find any, so I ended up having to buy a set. They needed to be completely rebuilt. Hub studs sheared off, the wheel studs sheared off. I mean, the thing was just completely thrashed, had to go through all the way. It was gonna be a lot of money. And then what am I really getting out of it? To me, running a 40, or you know, I know some guys running 42s on theirs. Coming from the full-size Chevy lifestyle, 42s are like money. That's exactly what I would want to run, but it's a lot on a Toyota axle, and even with them all the way built up, you know, there's still a chance I'm going to be breaking stuff, and often too. So I decided, let's go big. All right, if we're gonna be screwing around, stretching this in the front, stretching it in the rear, running 40s, 42s, if we're gonna go big, let's do it right. So after looking for a while, I finally found a Dana 70 rear axle, and I'm pretty excited about it. So this monster is still in the back of my truck. There we go. Yeah, this is an 8-foot bed. I mean, this thing is huge. You can see it's got no drums on it. The guy I bought it off of, he was getting it ready for a disc brake conversion, didn't make it. But we got a pretty good deal on this, and then I sold the Toyota axles, so now, you know, we have some money left over to build this axle the way we need to. So it's a Dana 70 HD. I believe it's out of a D250 Dodge 87. Yeah, the thing's stout. It's got 35 spline axles stock, and the thing's just beef all around. Huge tubes. The brakes, I'm actually getting ready to go pick up a brake conversion kit for it today in a few hours, and everything is beef, beef, beef. So I'm not really worried about this rear axle, which is sweet. So there are some downsides to running an axle this big. If you wanted to keep your Samurai narrow for the trail, it's not going to happen. That isn't my goal. I'm trying to keep mine as low as possible. Some huge tires and axles that can handle it. This can handle it. The number one reason why I wanted to do a Dana 70 is because they make a ton of gear ratios for these. I want to try something crazy. I want to get the lowest gear ratio they have. They sell a 7/17 to 1 ring and pinion for these things. I know a lot of guys are like, whoa, 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 that pinion gear is going to be really small. And I know it is. I think if they're set up right in the way I wheel, low speed, little 4-banger engine in here, I think we're going to be good. So now I have to find a matching Dana 60. I say matching. I need to just find a Dana 60. I want to run the Samurai transfer case still. For now, we'll see how it works with it. That's got to be a passenger drop. So I'm looking for my old school Chevy Kingpin Dana 60. Other than that, I think I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I think both the axles are so big, we might not have to run aftermarket shafts, at least not right away. And we don't have to do anything crazy with the steering. I'm going to try to do hydraulic steering only for it. So, you know, we probably don't even have to get new knuckles for the 60. The problem with these huge axles, besides the tires sticking out outside of the body, which I actually like, is the cost. Everything with 1 tons is more expensive. The wheels, the brakes, the lockers, the gears for this Dana 70 are like almost $600 for the set. So they're a lot. All the lockers I've looked at, they're as long as it's a full locker like a Detroit or Grizzly, we're talking almost $1,000 for one of those. A selectable is probably going to be closer to $1,300-1,500. It's a lot. I'm looking right now with Ox Locker. I'm trying to find out if they make a selectable for this. Their application guide is a little bit hard to read, and if they do, I'm probably gonna have to go with that, because my whole philosophy on these rigs, the Samurai, the Jeep over there in the background, the way I like to do it is to keep it simple. I've learned in the past that a spool rear is not going to work. It's just too hard to turn in those tight trails that I do out here. We had a spool in the back of the Samurai for a long time. It was horrible. The budget part's cool. Lightweight part, not really a factor when you're running a Dana 70 in my opinion. So I'm either going to run a Detroit or Grizzly in the front, and then I would like to have a selectable rear, but the budget's going to dictate that. For now, I wouldn't mind running a Detroit back there too, because that has a little bit more play compared to a spool. We could still turn with it. I thought about doing a Lock-Right, but I've read about a lot of people not having good luck with the Lock-Right on big tires, even though the carrier in a Dana 70 is so big. So that was a long video. I said it was gonna be short, and I lied to you guys, because I just like this stuff so much I could talk about it all day. We broke this Samurai on a night run, not even doing anything crazy. Lost our brakes, and since then it's just kind of been down. Oh yeah, another cool thing we got going on. For a long time, we've been struggling with the Samurai running really hot. Some tie rod ends, FJ80 tie rod ends. I realized I need to put in my brake kit. Anyone else's garage like this just completely thrashed all the time? I see in videos your guys's look pretty clean. Oh geez. One of these days I'm gonna switch this hood to the flush mount pins like I did on the Jeep, because I am so tired of this glove box hood release. There we go. All right, so what's new here? A radiator. We got an all aluminum radiator finally. I needed to do this a long time ago. I think I got this from Roadless Gear. I can't remember. This isn't the super thick one. It's like a Samurai. It's like an OEM sized radiator, but it's all aluminum. Fitment was pretty good, but I'm having a problem right now. I can't close the hood all the way because the radiator cap is hitting right there where that gap is. So I'm gonna have to cut that out a little bit, which sucks because I hate cutting into this hood and Samurai body for little things like that. With that, we've got all these new silicone hoses, and we did the thermostat not too long ago. So I'm hoping that's enough. New fan clutch. We put that in there too. But the problem with this new fan is you can't run the OEM shroud with it. So I have to get a new shroud, but for now I'm just gonna run it like this and see if it works better. I haven't even turned it on since I've done this because I've been working on other stuff. But another thing we got to get fixed soon is this angle right here for our power steering reservoir. You can see it kind of like crimped it down there a little bit, and now we're leaking a little bit of fluid out of there. But other than that, everything on Samurai is working really well. So we got to put it back together because this weekend we're going to Hollister. Yeah, I got invited by a guy that I just chat with on Instagram every once in a while, and he was like, hey, you want to go to Hollister? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. The plan was to go wheel the Samurai super hard. If it breaks in Hollister, that's fine because we have the Toyota axles swapping. We're starting over. We've got 1 tons to build, so we don't have a lot of money right now, and we don't have the front axle, so we can't swap it in yet. So we're not going to destroy it, but we are going to wheel it probably pretty hard at Hollister this weekend. So stay tuned for that. Guys, don't lose faith in the Samurai stuff. It's coming. It's just, like I said, we got to balance it out with a lot of other stuff. This video is way too long. It's supposed to be short. I talked about a lot of stuff in this video, so if you guys have any feedback on any of it, you know, am I crazy for trying to run a Samurai engine transfer case with Dana 70, Dana 60? I don't know. It seems like people are doing it. I know for sure they're running the 1.3s and 1.6s, so I think with all that gearing, I can do it. Oh, that's the last thing I was going to say. The main reason why I was really excited to go with the Dana 70 is because it goes to that 717, right? I think when I ran the numbers, if I would have done first gear, I believe is 3.65. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. In the transfer case, it's 6.4. And then right now we got 373 in the axle. So our crawl ratio is 87. I think it's 87. It's not great. It's on paper, it sounds really good, but still it leaves something to be desired when you're crawling. If we were to go with the 529s and Toyota axles, that was going to get us 125-ish, I believe, which is good. On 40s, I don't know if that would just set us back again to where we're at. But with the 717s, that bumps us all the way up to like 167, I believe. I'm hoping all that gearing is going to make up for the little power that we have. And if we're right there on the line still, I guess we're going to have to turbo it, guys. I know. I'm going to take one for the team. Guys, help me maintain positive relationship with my wife. And you know what I should do is I should let her drive it and see like, man, this thing's got no power, right? It's scary when you don't have the power. What do you think we should do? Turbo it? I agree. Let's do it. Let's turbo it. Anyways, my brain goes like a million miles per minute. I plan out a whole build in my head. I'm really excited about it. Check the bank account. There's no money in there. Check my calendar for the time off to do this kind of stuff. Don't have any. So it all takes a long time. So bear with me, guys. But please give me all of the advice that you have on these changes I'm going to make. You know, a couple little things like drive shafts. Like since I'm running a Samurai transfer case and 1-ton axles, what kind of U-joints should I use? You know, should I go Toyota so it's really common? I can swap with other people on the trail. I don't know. But I'm open to your guys' opinions, and I want to hear it because I know a lot of you guys have a lot of experience building and wheeling. So anyways, I'm going to end this rant. I had too much coffee this morning, maybe. I don't know. I could talk about off-road stuff all day, man. All right. Well, thanks for checking out this video. I know it's not very exciting. It is for me to talk about it, but probably not to listen to it. Got stuff coming up. We're going to have a couple more Moab videos, and then hopefully we'll have a Hollister video after this weekend. Got Frankie coming over to help me grab the Dana 70 out of the truck. Hopefully I don't hurt myself again like I did trying to load it in there. Thanks for checking out this video, guys. See you next time.